What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here, Darian's Pokemon. Going to be playing a game on PTCGO. This is Sam Chen's Zoroark Weavile list from the Collinsville Regional Championships. He was able to finish in 18th place out of over 1,000 players at Collinsville, so shout out to Sam. Pretty cool deck we got here. It really just is a quad Zoroark deck. It's just a Zoroark deck with a 2-1 Weavile line. It's got the Mew in there for Buzzwole, so some pretty cool stuff. And actually, if you've looked at Weavile's price in the last week or so, that card has really spiked from Ultra Prism. I think it's like over $5 now, which is kind of crazy for a holo rare that is not exactly like a super meta card, but I guess it was in the regional winning Malmo Regional Championships winning deck, so that is pretty neat. Looks like we've got ourselves a very kind of typical Zoroark starting hand here. We've got a Bridget, and then also a couple other supporters. Pretty cool. Definitely don't mind this starting hand. We start Lele, but sometimes starting Lele is fine because that means that your Pokemon is not going to get damaged or knocked out very quickly or easily. I actually just had a rough game with this deck. I misplayed so bad at the end. It was like a really close game against Decidueye Zoroark. It was really close, and it came down to the wire, and I thought that I had like a knockout, a crucial knockout on my opponent's Pokemon, but I had actually not read Weavile's attack, and I did not know what Weavile's attack cost. So I was like getting ready to do it, and I like slapped a DCE, and I like drew into the Weavile, and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna take this knockout. And then I like actually looked at Weavile, and I was like, oh no, Weavile cost a dark. I mean but that's my first game that I ever played, so you guys aren't gonna get to see that one. That one was like crazy, but that misplay was way too bad. We had to ditch it. We had to trash that one. Nope, can't see it. It's bad. So this is my second game ever with Sam's list. You guys missed my first game ever. Looks like this is another Zoroark Decidueye, and I can tell you from my experience playing this literally my last game, this is not a good matchup. Like, definitely not good. But I mean, Weavile is great. Which, did I prize my one of Weavile? I did not. But if we take a look at Weavile here, yeah, Weavile's attack cost a dark. That was, yep, that now we know. Duly noted. Write that down. Okay, we got it. I think I'm just going to go ahead and just go in on this Tapu Koko with my Tapu Lele GX. Like, why not? We started it. Let's just slap this thing around with the DCE. Now we're in a situation, if my opponent puts DCE on the Tapu Koko and flying flips, then I just knock it out because I get to do 80 damage with Energy Drive. So like I said, starting Tapu Lele is not always the worst thing with this kind of deck. He's actually your quickest attacker, which is pretty wild because he just gets out there, you know, gets his feet wet, can kind of get things done there early on. I also do have a Mallow in my hand, which wouldn't be a horrible play if this thing does get damaged if I had some Zoroarks in my hand. But I don't have Zoroarks in my hand, so that's not really an option. I think I need to play a draw card next turn. My opponent's deck is setting up swimmingly. Now, I am a big fan of Decidueye decks. I definitely like Decidueye. I've been a big fan of Decidueye for a while. Ever since Hartford, definitely got a heart for Decidueye. My opponent trades their last card away in their hand, which is a DCE, for 2 other cards. And so I wonder what the other cards they wanted were. Maybe I think they traded... that's kind of interesting. I'm pretty sure my opponent just traded a DCE away for a Zoroark and a DCE. So that's kind of an interesting move there. Definitely don't want to, don't want to end my opponent up to 6. So we're just going to go ahead and Cynthia. I need to get moving here for sure. My opponent does have 1 Decidueye up, and they also have 4 Pokemon in play. Hello, 4 Pokemon in play with abilities. So we need to go ahead and grab that Sneasel as soon as possible. And you can see that we got some cool stuff here with the trade action going on. We could evolve up that Zorua, so it's not going to get knocked out. We've got Evo Soda, so we can get ourselves a second Zoroark, and this is just why Zoroark decks are so good. I mean, just the additional draw power of these things is totally busted. The fact that I can just Cynthia and then be like, oh yeah, but I want to draw like 4 more cards. Like, sure, fine, go ahead, that's fine. We're just going to draw 4 more cards just because we can. So Why in the world not? And then we've even got a third Zoroark. All 3 Zoroark on turn 2. Why not? You know, like, has science gone too far? Should this card get banned? I don't know. I think personally that Zoroark is ridiculous, and that this much draw power should probably not exist in the game. But that's just my personal opinion. I don't really see why Pokemon felt like it was necessary to print a card that could just draw that much and then also have like a super valid attack. I don't really get it, but hey, that's just this is the game that exists and I'm just playing in it. So my opponent's got a 1-card hand. They just top decked. Now they have to decide, am I going to play it or it's a Sycamore? It was a Sycamore. They played their whole hand away, and they top deck a Sycamore. That's fine. I mean, who cares? This is fine. We're all out here having fun. Whatever. So my opponent needs to set up a second Decidueye. Really, if they want to get cooking and get anything done, if they just have one Decidueye in play, their deck is really just a worse version of my deck. But they just traded away another Rowlet. So that makes me think that maybe they have a Rowlet already in their hand. That, or they don't care about not setting up a third Decidueye, but I think that the way that they win this game is by setting up 3 Decidueye and 2 Zoroark and just going ham. I mean, Decidueye is super, super good against Zoroark right now. It really is. Looks like they might just be going up with a Decidueye. They're either going to Hollow Hunt or just like wall and pass. That is a super valid strategy with Decidueye decks. And it looks like they're favoring the third Zorua. They're favoring the Zorua over the Rowlet. And then also they decided to put a Grass Energy on their benched Rowlet instead of Hollow Hunting. They look like they don't really want to Hollow Hunt yet. I'm not exactly sure, you know, okay, that's fine. I guess they just wanted to wall with this and they're saving that Rowlet over there, though that Rowlet becomes a target for me with that energy on it, and I can go down in prizes too and make sure that I'm limiting my opponent to only one only one copy of Decidueye for next turn, so I do like that. I'm going to start off by trading a bunch because I can. So let's just go ahead and do that. Let's trade away this Field Blower that I don't necessarily want. Get an Ultra Ball and a Zoroark. I mean, I definitely want a Sneasel out here, but I don't really want to Ultra Ball away any of these things. I could Mallow and then grab it, but I also want a Guzma this turn. So I think I just trade again, and I think I'm going to trade away that stand-in Zoroark. Since my opponent has like infinite Pokemon with abilities in play. There we go. And then we got the Sneasel there. And then I want to also, I need to hit a DCE in order to be able to knock out Guzma and knock out that thing. Like, yeah, I did get rid of my Floatstone, so like that's a little bit annoying. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. But we had to get rid of something, and we had to draw more cards. So that is my defense. Let's go ahead and trade away as well this Giratina here. Let's hit that up, get that thing out of here, see what we can get. All right, so we actually do hit the knockout with that Darkness Energy because I can just Guzma, knock out the Rowlet. I do like that because then I'm taking, power away from my opponent. I'm putting myself back on even prizes. And since I have the Sneasel out here, I can actually, let's see, is there any better play? I think that's just the play, is just to retreat this Sneasel for 1 energy. That like makes the most sense, I think. So let's just retreat into the Tapu Lele. Since that thing's only got 60 hit points, we knock it out. Should I Rescue Stretch or anything back? No, probably not. I can Ultra Ball away maybe the Mew and the Acerola, but I probably want to keep the Acerola. I'll Ultra Ball away the Mew and the Lele. I could, yeah, that's fine. We'll get rid of those. All right, and we're going to get the second Sneasel. I really want to get this Weavile into play, like really badly. So I'm going to put both of these things out because Weavile should just carry me in this matchup. Last time I played against this deck, my opponent was able to keep like 3 Pokemon with abilities in play. They didn't have to use Lele early, and they were just able to go in with 2 Decidueye and a Zoroark and kind of just limit, as soon as I knocked out one, they had a Dartrix ready and just evolved up into the next Decidueye right away. And they kind of just were one step ahead the whole game, and eventually were able to win with a crazy Espeon devolve strategy there. So my opponent appears to be just going all in, though. They see the Sneasels on my bench. They are committed, though. They know that this is just the route they have chosen, and they are going to stick to it. Me, I have 2 Sneasels in play, which means that I can use Weavile, take a big knockout, and then I can rescue Stretcher and use Weavile again and take another big knockout. So you can see now why it's beneficial to play a 2-1 line, because that way you can feasibly do back-to-back. What is this attack called? Evil Admonition. You could do back-to-back Evil Admonition because you can have 2 Sneasels in play at one time and rescue Stretcher the one back and just pull it off. With the 3 Zoroarks here, I feel pretty confident that I'm going to be able to draw into the cards I need. This is an interesting version of Zoroark Decidueye that I'm seeing, though, because I don't think that I've ever seen Zoroark Decidueye with Puzzles of Time before. I'm pretty sure that's not something that I've seen, but I definitely respect that because, I mean, heck, Puzzle of Time is going in almost every Zoroark deck that is out there right now. So, you know, Zoroark using Puzzle of Time is completely busted because you could just have infinite access to the cards in your deck. Then you have like infinite access to the cards in your discard pile, and you just have way too much access to way too much deck of your deck all the time. And you could see that this is why Parallel City is so good right now, like so ridiculously good. This is why I love Parallel City and the Garbodor decks, because just look at my board position. Really, I mean, if I were to get slapped with the Parallel City right now, that would really hurt. Like, I wouldn't like that. I'd have to discard probably a Zoroark and a Sneasel. Like, that would be horrible for me if my opponent were just to slap a Parallel City against me right now. Like, that would be really bad. Parallel City is just so good against these setup decks. A lot of decks, especially with Zoroark GX, really want to fill their bench. So even in a deck like Zoroark Golisopod, where the other side of Parallel actively hurts your Golisopod's damage output, you really don't care because you need to play it just to hinder your opponent's setup, and the -20 you take in damage output from your Golisopod is easily worth it just to limit your opponent's setup and what they got going on. My opponent drops the Espeon EX. Looks like they're going to just hit at me with a Riotous Beating here. 150 plus the 20 damage from a Feather Arrow, and they've got the knockout. But fortunately for me, I've got Weavile on deck. They did not disrupt my hand with an N or anything of the sort. So we are just good to go and should be able to win so long as, I mean, I guess so long as my opponent does not devolve all 3 Zoroarks and knock them all out, which they cannot do since I knocked out that Rowlet. They are only having 1 Decidueye in play. It means they'll only be able to knock out 1 of those. Let's go ahead and evolve this Weavile here. And I think the play probably is to just Mallow and draw into the Darkness. And I mean, I have it already. So I could just trade. I have it with double puzzle. I could just trade, maybe end my opponent to 4. Like, that seems pretty good. But they have so many Zoroarks out already. I probably want to double puzzle for what? Like, maybe I could get the Darkness energies, all I need. I don't really need to. I could just Mallow and keep these cards in my hand. That seems pretty good. So let's just go ahead and Mallow. And we're going to throw a Darkness energy up there. And we're also, I already have Choice Band in my hand. I do have Choice Band in my hand. That feels pretty good. And I think I also just want, what, an N? I could limit my opponent next turn. A Guzma. Probably want Guzma. Let's just throw Guzma up there. So then I can, like, guaranteed take the knockouts that I need next turn. And then let's trade away that Acerola. I'm not going to need that. And get the cards I need for that knockout. My opponent's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Pokemon in play with abilities. We are good. I think I save the Choice Band, save the Puzzles of Time, save everything that I have here, because really I don't need to trade. I have win in hand for next turn so long as my opponent doesn't end me, and I want to just make sure that I have access to these cards here in order to close this game out. We've got another puzzle, another Zoroark. I don't really see a way my opponent pulls this one out, especially with so many puzzles in my deck. A Rescue Stretcher. I mean, really, there is just a lot of options for me to draw out of this. I mean, you figure Maybe my opponent knocks out one Zoroark next turn and ends me. If they do that, I still just win though. They can't go up with Espeon, because if they go up with Espeon and devolve one Zoroark, then I just evil admonition again for 200 damage, and I'm gonna knock it out. So my opponent actively needs to knock out this Weavile, probably with a Zoroark GX. They're going to knock this thing out and hope to end me to 2 and hope that it sticks. But so long as I can get double puzzle, I'm going to win. Well, I guess I need double puzzle and a choice band. So if I get double puzzle, or if I get Mallow, or if I get anything like that, a lot of these cards are outs. I have Lele's in the discard pile, so even my rescue stretcher is an out to a win. I've just got a lot of outs here. This, to me, is just completely ridiculous, though. I can't believe that Zoroark just is this powerful. You know what I mean? Like, just being able to fill my hand this much, Puzzle of Time giving you so much access. It feels ridiculous that you should be able to have a deck capable of this much draw and this much power. It definitely feels overpowered after playing a Garbodor deck, which really you just play your supporter and then you're like, all right, I'm done. You know, go ahead, pass your turn. It definitely feels pretty overpowered playing one of these Zoroark decks. I haven't played a Zoroark deck at a tournament in a while, so I'm still like kind of learning the ways of Zoroark. I've definitely just been on the fighting guys train here and favoring them. I really like playing the fighting decks. I think they're really good. Let's see. I mean, we just have it here. My opponent, you know, they don't have it, so I have it. I could just go ahead and Guzma. Yep, let's just Guzma up that Lele. And that's it for my opponent. So good game. Still have that choice band on there. And let's just do Evil Admonition for what? 230 damage. Crazy game. Weavile getting us there. I mean, I don't know how that game goes if I don't have Weavile. Weavile just gives your deck an awesome one-hit KO option for Zoroark. So super cool stuff. Glad I was able to show off how powerful this card can be. You see that Weavile was the MVP, dealing 660 damage. Very, very cool. And I think Weavile could have some potential. I mean, Weavile is one of the few cards in format that really keeps Zoroark decks in check. I mean, because it is just way too powerful being able to just fill your bench with so many Zoroarks and not having any repercussions for that whatsoever. So I do like Weavile and Weavile's place in the format as a counter to all these really good ability cards. I mean, Zoroark GX, Mew, Lele. I mean, there are just so many cards with abilities in these really top tier decks right now. And I think definitely Weavile punishes your opponent for playing like most of the cards in their deck. So it's some pretty cool stuff. Shout out to Sam Chen. This is his list. Gonna just go ahead and show it off real quick. Like I said, it's just the 2-1 Weavile line. And then that Oranguru there with that resource management. Cool option to stop you from decking out. Be able to throw, I mean, you can throw puzzles back in the deck, anything. And with that and the basic, it works because you have these basic energy too. So you could throw a basic energy on it, then resource management, and then like what you could even profound knowledge for 60 because you play DCE too. Pretty funny stuff. So that's it for Zoroark Weavile. Let me know what you think of the deck list in the comments below. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, follow me on Twitter at enjoyfriend, ENJOY friend. Thank you all for watching the video. Peace.